welcome to Unfiltered Discussions. You
got Nash in the building.
got Ash in the building. And I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers
Happy
out
Mother's
there.
Day, ladies.
And the expecting mothers and so forth.
Yeah.
So what we got going on today?
I guess we're just going to get into just like motherhood, things that just make us a woman, just all kinds of things that, embodies a mother.
Okay, cool. I want to get into the fact of, motherhood is really, a blessing to be a mom.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, sometimes you don't think that you're gonna be a mom,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you like actually have your baby and see your baby, and you just start getting in a mommy mode. Like, damn, I really had this little person here. Look at him, and it's like an unconditional thing. It's like, oh my god, like.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%.
Can't stay mad at your baby for too long. Like,
nah, but them kids is a handful, to say the least. To be quite honest, I feel like motherhood, of course, is a blessing and very rewarding, but very tiresome as well. There's really no manual for it, and you're gonna have mistakes along the way. That's just a part of life, right?
For sure.
There's really no right and wrong way. Is basics to motherhood. Like, of course, keep your kids clean, take them to the doctor's appointments, teach them right and wrong, things like that. But stuff that's going to come in motherhood is really no preparing for that, right? You can only hope that whatever you do with your kids, that they grow up and be these people they're supposed to be, but you never really know until they test it, right? But motherhood, woo. And honestly, let me ask you this: like, when you think of motherhood, what are 3 words that come to mind when you think of motherhood for you?
I would say sacrifice, protection, protecting your child, and advocating for your child. So I think those 3 things are important because the love is going to come either way. But as a mother, your job is to protect your child and make sure your child is good. You know what I'm saying? And with that also just really, being able to, just you don't want nobody to harm your child at the end of the day. You really don't want no harm, in your child's way. But some people don't think of it like that. They send their child off to the wolves, or they're not advocating for their child or speaking up for what's right and what's wrong when it comes to their child, or they're allowing people to step all over them, and that sets the tone for when they grow up, and then people are stepping over them and using them and things of that nature too. So that's how I think about it. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. When I think of 3 words that come out, I think about motherhood is selflessness, open-mindedness, and consistency, right? I just feel like, of course, in order to love somebody else, you have to be selfless, right? You have to give your time. Sometimes you have to give up on your goals for the moment. You might can't go to an event. You might can't do this. You still, or you might want a pair of shoes, but you can't get those shoes. Your kid needs some new clothes. You know what I mean? So selflessness and sacrifice goes hand in hand in motherhood, right? I chose open-mindedness because you don't know what you're going to get out of the kid, right? You could think they one way and they could turn out to be totally the opposite of what you imagine in your mind. Because we all got a theory of what we think our kids should be, right? Oh, my kid gonna be like this. Even if you instill these things, oh, my kid gonna be like this. So you gotta remain open-minded because you don't know what's going to come your way. Consistency. Kids need structure. They need to see this routine. They need pattern. They teach them how to grow and be adults at the end of the day, and to know that in life, when they do see inconsistencies, you gotta either reevaluate or get rid of people at the end of the day, because people will show up, and it could be the other parent, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be anything that's not consistent, and you don't want those type of patterns in your life. So I feel like children really need consistency to know what it is and what it ain't in life. Because if they ain't on their schedule, eating and getting washing, going to bed, what are they doing? They're all over the place. So you have to be consistent, and whatever it is, everybody got a method to their madness. Whatever that method looks like, you got to be consistent in that method when it comes to parenting your child. I don't know. I just feel like so many people, like, as y'all know, last year we had a lot of moms on the couch, And we could have had a million more this year, but it just felt like this year is a year of like more so like reflecting, right? So much happened within this year in both our lives as moms, and it's just like, whoo, you know what I mean? Like let me take a breather and really reflect and see how far we come since our last episode celebrating moms. And you know, like, do you feel like this year has been an eye-opening year? Do you feel like it's like a big difference in last year in motherhood for you?
Yeah, because when it comes to motherhood, you also have to have a sense of self-awareness. You have to really develop that self-awareness, because you really have to be mindful, and it goes back to being mindful, and it also teaches you that open-minded piece where you're not taking things on face value, but you're also willing to learn. You know, you're not, as a parent, you should always be willing and able to learn something, because you're not going to know it all at the end of the day. You're not going to be able to put everything down and put the pieces to the puzzle together, you know what I mean? And also just that patience.
Absolutely.
That piece that really is important is the patience, you know, because you can't lose your shit because a little occurrence happened, or your child might have spilled milk or something like that. And you see that often in the media, where children are not in a safe environment, and it's because the parent is losing their shit. That patience piece is very important, and that self-awareness piece, because it lets you know how you're feeling and how you need to reevaluate the situation at hand, and that will teach you how to move accordingly. Because as a parent, it comes with many challenges. We're going to face many different obstacles as a parent, you know. And that's the important piece of it all. You know, it's times where you might get frustrated, you might be upset. It's okay to feel a certain way about things, but it's also being in a space where you're able to, you know what, okay, I thought about it, this is going on, let me reevaluate, reassess, reset, and now I gotta be solution focused. Because you can't sit around and sit in it and let it soak at the end of the day, you know? So that self-awareness piece for me, I feel like that was a big piece that really allowed me to grow from last year as well, like that self-awareness.
Absolutely. For me, self-care, you know what I mean? I'm the go-to, right? And it always got to make sure I have it figured all out. When it comes down to being a mother, being a woman, a wife, a friend, whatever, a daughter, whatever, I always have to like make sure like this person cool, this person cool, this is good, this is good, this is where it's supposed to be. And it's like, what about me? You understand what I'm saying? Because if I don't take care of Shannon, then I can't help nobody else at the end of the day. And I never really knew like what burnout was, and even down into your careers, it's like, ooh, I'm burnt out. And that's the thing. Like this past year has really taught me to, and not to be, because I'm not a selfish person, but to kind of have to put, and I don't want to say selfish in it because I don't even like that word in my vocabulary, but you kind of sort of got to put you first in certain situations in life, especially being a mom, because we think, oh, you're a bad mom if you don't do this right now, or you're a bad mom if you don't do that right now. But it's like, you good. I make sure you straight, like on every level, in and out, even some things that other moms wouldn't do. So I can sleep good at night. And even though I say, you know what, let me think about what Shannon want right now. What do Shannon need right now? Not what Janaya need, not what Malcolm need, what Shannon needs at the end of the day. And that this past year, that really had to take priority for me. You know what I mean? You have to go back, because to bounce off of what you said about when parents are acting a fool over kids spilling a drink. It says more about you, not about that small incident. It says that you're burnt out. It says that you're placing things where they don't belong. You're overreacting over something minor. It's a minuscule thing that happened and you are acting a fool. That's how you know it's deeper than what the issue is at hand. And that's why it's important for that self-care, because if you're not taking care of your stuff and cleaning up your stuff, how can you be good for your child? You can't be. You just can't be. You're showing up in the world And we all got stuff to work on, all of us, no matter who you are, right? Some major, some minor, but if you're not doing the work, and it's so funny, and I know as cliche as it sounds, we always tell like you can't just do this, do this, do this. But what are you doing?
That part.
What are you doing, girl? Are you doing? I mean, really, because I never really, sometimes you got to step back outside of yourself to say, hold on, because because I'm the adult and you're the child, right? So what I say goes. In most instances, yes, but think about it. We tell our kids to do so many different things, but what are we doing? You understand? Leading by example. Like really, like honesty, and it's and yes, and it's a fine line. Because I really think that effective communication applies to any relationship, whether it's kid, adult, husband, wife, whatever, friendship, job, relation. Communication is a must-have, right? And oftentimes we say we want our kids to be expressive. We say we want this, and I'm very big on it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? Respect is a must-have. So of course, when kids do express themselves, they too grown. You know what I mean? Who are you talking to? I'm the adult. You're the child. But are they saying it in a way that they're expressing themselves? Because think about it. If you constantly shut a kid down when they are trying to communicate with you, that you're creating an adult that shuts down.
Yep.
You're creating somebody that won't be solution focused. You're creating somebody that won't have a voice. You're creating somebody that won't know how to advocate for themselves. You're creating somebody that's going to take up and put up with anybody BS because my mom always said, be quiet. My mother always said that I'm a child and stand a child's place. No, it's levels to that. And if you're coming off grown, disrespectful, yeah, shut it down. I'm shutting it down. But if we can go ahead and bounce off each other and have a good conversation with one another, that way I can learn from you, you can learn from me. Because again, as adults, we don't know everything. Nope. We think we do, but we really, really don't. And honestly, these kids today got some stuff to teach you. You know what I mean? They keep you young. They keep you in a mix or whatever the case may be. So you got to be mindful, open-minded. That's what I was that open-minded piece. Yep. Like really, because they're a different breed. They not cut like we was cut. Like they just different. Like, and it's like, whoa, some of the stuff it make you scratch your head a little bit. Like, what's up with these kids? But then another part was like, wow, look at them. Like, I don't even know. Like, at that age, I wasn't even thinking about anything like that. But again, it goes back to environmental factors. It goes back to what's being important to these kids. What are they saying in these households at the end of the day? Because kids they learn behaviors at the end when it's all said and done. But being a mother is not an easy task.
Absolutely not. And to get back to the communication piece, it's funny because oftentimes as an adult, I've seen that we assume like what a child is feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of the times you don't even really check in with a child, and that goes back to, oh, I'm the adult, you're the child.
Absolutely.
No, it's you have to check in with a child and say, hey, how you feeling? What's going on? How was your day? Like really have a conversation, because that emotional piece is being neglected. You know what I'm saying? So like you could come in a household all day and provide for your child, do the basic needs and everything is met, but what about the emotional piece? That part is being neglected. So oftentimes things might have happened to your child, or something may have went on, but you didn't communicate or understood or took the time to figure out what was going on and how this child is feeling, because we assume, And another thing, the expectations for a child, a lot of people have real high expectations, and sometimes those expectations, are or is just shit that you're projecting onto your child when at the end of the day, certain things like, have you ever seen a household where, it's a household full of lawyers in the family, but your child has a dream other than wanting to be a lawyer? And you shut it down because you're projecting your own shit onto your child and the expectation. Exactly. So that's another thing. So like that goes back to the open-minded piece. You have to be open-minded. Your child may not be how you see how you want. You just want to overall just have a child that's doing well, good, regardless of what they got going on. But that expectation puts pressure. that pressure piece. Then it could cause like, childhood depression. It could cause anything. But that emotional piece is very important, and that communication piece is definitely important. And having hard conversations with your children, especially those teenage children that's these young men that's becoming they're going to be fathers one day, they're going to be married one day, these young women that's going to grow up and have a significant other, all these list of different things. So like that's the age where you really need to be checking in with your child and really understanding what's going on. You're seeing your child being rebellious or acting a certain way, and this child is just difficult, this child is not teachable, this and that. But had you sat down and really got a real understanding and really had a real non-judgmental conversation with your child, you may find out a lot of things that's going on
all day long. I agree 1,000% with that one. And it's kind of hard, honestly, when you're dealing with a child that just don't get it, right? And you can try different avenues. You can literally like go outside of what you know to be true, and it's kind of crazy because we expect our kids to conform to what we want them to conform to, but in our reality is like we had them, so we have to conform to what they need at the end of the day, right? And it's like, you never really think about it until you in it a lot of the times with your kid, or after the episode or whatever has already occurred. You get to reflect a little bit if you're a reflector, because some people don't care. They don't care to find out the why, right? They don't care why you're acting up. They don't care why you're doing this. They don't, and it ain't me, it's them. How about maybe you're difficult, right? Because that's a hard thing to swallow when you got to look at yourself and say, damn, what kind of person am I? How am I showing up as a mom? You know what I mean? And oftentimes it's like we always want to believe that we're the best of the best, right? If you talk to anybody, oh yeah, I'm the best mom, I do this, and then it's like, oh, you're supposed to feed your kids, you're supposed to put clean clothes on them, you're supposed to give them shoes and things, you're supposed to provide a roof over their head, you're supposed to lead by an example. These are the things you're supposed to do. What are the things that's outside of the norm that most people don't do? That's when you can get your brownie points, of those are the things that you're looking for, right? When your kid is difficult, you still keep pushing, you still keep trying, you still keep showing up. You know what I mean? That's when you're going beyond what's expected of you, because most people will shut it down. I'm done with you. When you do that talk, I'm done with you. But then but in return, they keep rekindling relationships and friendships. But you just dispose of your child like it's nothing. That's you all day long. That's the blood of your blood. You brought that person here, right? Because children don't ask to be here. We make those decisions whether or not we're going to carry these kids and all of that, and who we choose to have them by. And then a lot of the times I see that mothers will make a child pay for the absence of their father, right? And that always blew my mind, because that's your kid, right? Regardless if a man agrees to have a kid with you or not, and then show you a total different thing after the fact, that's yours at the end of the day. You carried that child. You know what I mean? You made the decision with your body to say, you know what, I'm going to go through with this, right? Which is going to get us onto our next topic with the Roe versus Wade, right? So when it's all said and done, it's like again, I'm not never had abortion. I'm not to say what somebody should and shouldn't do. It's just not my thing, right? At the end of the day, do I feel like a woman's rights should be taken off the table? Absolutely not. No. But where I do disagree at is when you're using it as a form of the birth control, right? I'm totally against that. I feel like we are too grown. We grown. We know what we're doing. You lay down, you have unprotected sex, you is a possibility you'll come up with a kid or something worse, right? So these are conscious decisions that we're making. So why do you feel like, oh, let me run down here and take care of this?
Take care of this, like that's supposed to be a responsibility to go down there and do that on a regular basis, right?
Absolutely. Now, if it's incest, rape, You know what I mean? Things like all day long. That's why I feel like it should stay on the table. And as a woman, I always feel like a woman should have a right to choose what she does with her body, right? Whether I agree with it or not, it's not my place, it's not my body, right? So, but to take it strictly away, I think that's dead wrong. Totally wrong. Now, should there be some stipulations around it? I believe
Oh yeah.
so. Now, and if they say, oh, if it's, of course, rape and incest should automatically guarantee you if you want to take care of it, get rid of it. But if you're down here and you haven't been raped, no things like traumatic things happen to you, and you're down here, it should be a minimum. Like the max is two. It should really be one, but
Yeah.
the max should be two. Just hypothetically speaking, because I don't know nobody's situation,
Exactly.
right? But I feel like those kind of stipulations could be brought into play. But to strictly take it off the table, you dead wrong.
Yeah.
You are dead wrong for that.
And it's sad because it's men arguing this point. You're arguing a point about a woman body. Like,
absolutely.
Who are you?
Yeah.
You don't get to determine what I'm doing with my body.
Absolutely.
You know, and at the end of the day, you have some women that utilize that as a form of birth control, and here it is, you're down at the abortion clinic every other month going to go get abortion when there is both birth control and it is contraceptives out here that you can utilize in order for you to prevent pregnancy at the end of the day. So for you to know this, and all right, you done got a pass, all right, cool, but you're doing it repeatedly, you're constantly doing that, it's not cool at the end of the day. And then what about those women that go down there at thinking they're gonna get abortion at 6 months? Are you okay?
That's it.
5 and 6 months, you're not okay. 4 months, you're not okay.
I feel like the 6 to 8 week mark, because you don't know 6 pregnant to about if you missed
exactly.
And you're in your head trying to decide.
Exactly, a little contemplating around, and so it's like, no. You're over your first trimester and you're sitting up here thinking that you want abortion at 4 and 5. Absolutely not. Yeah, and then you have multiple women that'll wait until that time and have gotten abortions multiple times at 4 and 5 months. Like, what's happening? That's a whole baby. Like, we're not doing this, regardless of whether it's still a child, regardless of what money. But come on, like, really, that's not cool at the end of the day. And and then you got someone like, oh well, I'm through with the relationship, or I'm done with it. Then they back at it again. Then it's the same. Come on, repeat a cycle.
Absolutely.
And it's just not cool at the end of the day. And sometimes you gotta like if birth control is making you sick, make that man put on a condom.
But see, people like to say, I'm getting raw sex or whatever, and we all grown at the end of the day, right? And that's why it's extremely important to make conscious decisions. And that's why I say we can say all day, to our kids, do this and do this. But when it comes to adult decisions, are you even making the right decisions? But you expect a kid that don't even know life to make certain decisions. But as an adult, they've been around the block 4 or 5 times. Are you making conscious decisions? You know what I mean? So that's why I always say it's good to say, I'm grown, you should do this. But when it comes down to get grown stuff, are you doing the right thing? Right? And that's why I say everybody got a choice to do whatever they want with their body. You know what I mean? But again, facts are facts, right? And you really gotta really just be careful, because a lot of the times I find that a lot of women that go and have multiple abortions and then they finally want to carry, they have trouble carrying babies, right? Because you're not just killing them, you're not just killing the kid, you're damaging your body at the end of the day. So you just have to be mindful. Whatever choice you make when it comes down to abortions and things, just be mindful of the after effects that you will potentially face when you finally do want to say, I'm ready to be a mom. You may not be able to carry that baby. And that's kind of sad. That's a sad situation. But honestly, as far as the abortions go, everybody's going to have their own outlook on it. Everybody's going to come from a different angle. You may have some people that agree, some people that's going to disagree, and that's cool. Yeah. That's just like anything that's debatable. Yeah, that's your thing, but this is what it is. This is my perspective. That's your perspective, and that's just that. When it's all said and done. Now, for me, a lot of the times people really believe, like for you, when you hear the word mother, What does that defines for you? Like how do you define mom when you hear of that? What makes somebody a mom?
I'm gonna speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
as a mother, because as a mother, like I said, that sacrifice, and also that unconditional and that selflessness, it comes without a thought. You shouldn't have to think about, making sure your child is okay. You shouldn't have to think about these things when it comes to your child. It should be no limits when it comes to your child as a mother. And as a mother, like I said, I want, if my child is in harm's way or somebody's doing something to I'm here to protect my child at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to make sure my child is I'm nurturing my child. I'm molding my child. I'm teaching my child, values and morals and things of that nature, in hopes that my child will follow the same footsteps as far as the values and morals and the respect and those different things of that nature, and just being a good teacher, and just being able to, get to what's right and wrong, and just being that whole, like that whole, like it, just me and my child where they're at, what I'm saying, and just not being judgmental at the end of the day, because also being consistent and not just existing and not just being there is also a mother as well, because people could say they're moms, but they never even they're not there, they're not showing up. Being a mom is showing up and being there.
And that you don't want to.
Exactly. You're gonna do things outside of what you feel like and don't feel like.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. So that patience, peace, and all that stuff, you can't just throw your child to the wolves when things get rough. And like you said, you're saving relationships with other people. You're rekindling relationship with significant others and all these lists of different people that you have come across. But where is the forgive? You being a mother is you have to be forgiving
all day long,
and that's the piece that people don't understand as well. Being forgiving, and also not letting nobody step over your child, even down to even if you was in a relationship with somebody and having a significant other. You know what I'm saying? Your child has a right to voice their opinion on how they feel about this particular individual at the end of the day, because that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? You gotta really respect what your child is saying as a mother too.
Take them into consideration even when you make those decisions to get into relationships. That's extremely important. Especially if you're a hands-on mom. If you're a mom that always have your children or whatever the case may be, but you have to. It's sad that you even will have to mention that, right? Yeah. Because as we see time and time again, a lot of children are being hurt by mom's paramours, right? And it's like, did you even do any background on this man? Did you ever ask your kid, hey, do you cool? Is it Mr. Tommy? How do you feel about Mr. Tommy or Mr. Joseph, Mr. Billy, or whoever he is? You know what I mean? Do that check in. You have to really, and that's the thing. A lot of people like to rush in. Oh, meet my kids. No, back up a little bit, okay? How about let's work on us, see what we got going on? Because sometimes it's important to see if you and the person even is compatible. What are your lay everything on the table? What does that look like? And a big red flag to me is if you're constantly here with my kids, where are your kids at? If you're not with your children, that right there. And women, as a woman, I can never understand that. Now you may have a difficult child's mother or whatever, but that's what the courts are for. Come on, man. It's so many other avenues you can take to still be involved with your child, because the system doesn't work like that. But just go down the same way you could make a haircut appointment, hang out with your boys, hang out with the new chick that you like. Go down there and advocate for your rights with your child, and if you do have a difficult mother that you had a child with. But yeah, I just think as a woman, you're always supposed to encourage your man to be involved with his children. That's important.
Absolutely.
I stand on that. You understand? Like, I feel like as a woman, as a mom myself, if you ain't around your kids, what's up with you? I don't deal with your kind.
Like, what's happening?
Under no circumstances, because as a mom, I can't make an excuse. I have to be a mom, whether I want to or not. But whether you get a choice to be a dad, how do y'all get to choose what y'all do? we gotta make sure. And yeah, shout out to the good dads because it is some.
Oh yeah.
I'm not taking that away. This ain't about y'all. So let's not get it misconstrued. I'm strictly speaking on the men. They take the easy route out. Oh, she difficult. Oh, she this. What about your child? I don't give a damn about her, your kid. Utilize your support systems. Great. Phoning your mom, phoning your sister, phoning yo, could you go get my kid for me? Because if I get in front of a man, what we're gonna do is have conflict.
That part.
You know what I mean? Use your support system in order to still show up for your kid. Because at the end of the day, the kid don't know that drama you on. Depending on the age, the kid don't know that drama you on, that mom, the unresolved stuff you on his mother got or her mother got going on. They are oblivious to that. They just know that daddy ain't around.
Just be dripped in excuses at the end of the day.
Yeah,
When you really, when it's all said and done, it's dripped in excuses. But to piggyback off the fact that really getting to know somebody and all that, I had a girlfriend that she be like, oh, you gotta roll before my child get up. You gotta roll.
Yeah, bye-bye.
We ain't doing this. Either you respect it or you don't. That means that I ain't dealing with you if you don't respect what's happening here. There's a lot of women out here that don't play that. You can't even get around her kids or anything like that until she figure out who you are. Exactly. And I have plenty of conversations in like different groups that I conduct, and they was like, you know what, I ain't got no choice but to respect it. Absolutely. And that's respect for the woman. But this is another thing that I want to say too. The way that man treats you says a lot about how he want to treat your child too. Because if a man is disrespectful to you, what makes you think he's going to be respectful to your child?
Because let's be clear here, a man loves your kid of the amount of love he has for you. You know what I mean? Yes, because they build their relationships, outside of you eventually, of course. But initially, I love you because I love your mom.
That part.
I respect you because I respect your mom. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not an instant spark because that's not their child. So they're building off of the love and respect they have for the woman that they're dealing with. It doesn't have anything to do with the child.
Absolutely
that
not.
Stuff comes over time. That's not an overnight thing. You know what I mean? And then you have to see. You don't have to tell nobody, oh, well, my son or my daughter got this going on. Would you like to do that? No. See what they would choose to do. Stop throwing so many things at it. See what they want to do. They know what's going on because if you talk to your significant other, then they know what your kid got going on. They know this and they know that. So see what they choose to do.
They're like, you know what, I got it. I stand around like, you know what, it's cool. This going on, all right, cool. Like, I at least put forth the effort and try at the end of the day, And I really want to say this to these moms. Like, I really want a lot of moms to really start respecting themselves for real, because I've seen like a lot of mothers, lack self-respect when it comes to these significant others. And then here it is, you in a household with a man that can't respect you, and then it spills over to not respecting your child at the end of the day. And here it is, I find that now you're putting this significant other over top of your child at the end of the day, and that should never even have to go like that, or never have to be the case at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And some women are not advocating for that. They're speaking on the wrong shit instead of the right shit. Like, speak up on your child. Advocate for your child of what's right and what's wrong at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be doing this at the end of the day.
No, absolutely not. And the worst thing you could do is raise a child in a toxic environment, right? Just to say you have somebody. And I can speak from my own childhood, being in a toxic situation. That said, now you gotta have those boundaries. I don't play that. You're toxic, especially if I don't put. You're gone. You're done. You understand? Pack it up and you're finished. Ain't even. I don't want to go on.
See you later. Good night.
Goodbye. You understand? Because kids, that stuff, that's right there. You shaping kids to grow up in their own toxic stuff. To what they accept and what they not accepting. What they think is okay. That stuff ain't love. You understand what I'm saying? So why do a kid have to hear you arguing, fight, and potentially getting beat on? You know what I mean? Just being disrespected for no apparent reason. It could be something small.
And and they see that shit going on,
Mm-hmm.
and that teaches your child how to be a liar, because now your child is trying to protect you, so nobody else knows what you're going through or what you got going on. So that ain't even cool either, because a child shouldn't have to be secretive about their mother being in a toxic, abusive relationship. At the end of the day, that teaches their child how to lie and how to go about life in certain ways that they shouldn't be going about. So that's another thing. Like, that ain't even cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And moms, and I understand everybody want to be loved. We all want to be in relationships and things like that. But at what cost, right? When it's for you, it's for you, right? But if it's causing other things, it's spilling over into stuff in a negative aspect, then you can't do it right now. You know what I mean? That's one of the sacrifices you make as being a mom. And if you are going to do you got to do you outside of your children. You know what I mean? Because again, yes, we deserve love. Yes, we deserve some. Listen, I'm a mom. Look, I'm a woman too. I'm a mom, but I'm a woman too. I deserve to do something. Cool, I get it. I get it. But once you decide to say, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and have these kids, it ain't about you no more. As much as we wanted to believe that it is, but it's truly not. It's really not, because this whole human being is dependent on you to protect, to provide. You know what I mean? So you have to keep that in mind at all times. And again, people are who they are, so you gotta believe them the first go around. Like, people don't just show up as this crazy person all of a sudden. No, you're ignoring those signs, the red flags be all waving in your face.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh no, but he do this, but he said this, but no. It is what it is, and look at it for what it is. Like, and that's just that. Like, but again, sometimes moms just so stressed and just want their relief in that. Oh, I just want to feel loved. I just need this to be with this man, or whatever the case may be. Just know what you're sacrificing at the end of the day. It could be your child's life, because we have seen many kids being murdered by the hands of the mom's significant other. It's just, or being violated. It's just so many things at play here. So just be careful with that. Not to say you can't find somebody, or you don't deserve to be loved. Everybody deserves to be loved, but just make sure you're doing it in a right way that makes sense. Make it make sense at the end of the day. Don't get blinded by potential, or dang, I just guessed, girl, he gonna come over tonight, and don't be blinded by those things. Always stay on point. You gotta stay on those toes when you somebody's mom, and even for yourself, because you could get hurt too at the end of the day. And then you did. Nobody got to. Who gonna raise your kids? Nobody's gonna do it like you. And that's what a lot of people gotta understand when it comes down to being a mom at the end of the day. And another thing I want to speak about is the fact that, so I didn't get to say what I believe a mom is, right? Just because you didn't birth a kid doesn't mean that you're not a mom, right? We all just assume that, oh, I gave birth to this kid, that automatically makes me a mom. No, because it's some crappy moms out here, right? But it's some people that's like real good people that takes on the task of taking care of other people's children, pouring into, you know what I mean, instilling things in these kids and really showing up for these kids. So, and then those are the people that may have fertility issues. Those are the people that tried and still is coming up without a child. But they pour so much into other people. And shout out to y'all, because that's major, that's big, right? Because imagine the feeling of wanting to be a mom, and you try and you can't. You know what I mean? And you gotta watch everybody else around you have kids. And these may be people, and that's another thing about being mindful. These are people that's probably complaining. These kids get on my damn nerves, and the person beside you that wish they could carry a kid like that. If only if I could have that, I would be so grateful for my kid right now. So always be mindful about stuff like that. The words that you speak into the universe, because the person beside you, are you even realizing that your best friend wish she could carry that kid? You know what I mean? Your coworker, the lady at the grocery store that you just had a conversation with, you know what I mean, or already know, because people may have been circling around speaking about it, you know what I mean. But be mindful, be grateful for what was given to you, because that's a blessing. That's a blessing. Not everybody is fortunate to get pregnant. That's a process within itself. You know what I mean? We just automatically assume, oh, I'm a woman, I can breed kids. That's not true. It may seem that way, but that's not true, right? And so often you hear people say, look at her with all those kids and she don't even do right by those kids. Yeah, sometimes I don't understand that piece either. I'm not even gonna lie, as a woman, I don't get that. Like, you know, but I can't choose what nobody do. I don't know why they're blessed the way they are blessed, but at the end of the day, I kind of understand why people say that sometimes, because people don't be doing right by those kids and they just keep having them. Because I'm just a firm believer in, you know, accomplishing something before I have more children. Each time I have a kid, I have to have more on my plate, more things that I can say, oh, I could fall back on this, so I have done this, I have done that, just so I'll be able to give my kids the best of the best when it's all said and done. And then I want to touch on stepmoms, right? Because let me tell you something. You got to judge a person by how they deal with your kid, right? And that's real talk. I'm never, ever going to be in a position where I'm married to somebody or even in a relationship with somebody and not treating their kid as if it's one of mine. Right. Do you understand me? As a woman, as a mom, I could never respect a woman that don't show up the way that she wants somebody to show up for hers.
Absolutely.
You know, that's that stuff that make you want to put your hands and feet on people. And that's just real talk. And all day long, because how you feel about yours, I feel about mine.
Absolutely.
You understand me? And people would say, oh, you don't love nobody. It shows in your actions. It shows in what you choose not to do. When you have choices, you could do a million things, but you don't do it. You understand that people say, oh, but they do this. That's small, minor stuff. That stuff don't count to me. When it comes to mine. You know what I mean? So a lot of women, y'all gotta get your ish together. The same way you want somebody to do right and do well by your kid, you better do the same for somebody else's kid. Because ain't nobody playing about their kids, man. Ain't nobody playing at all. Like that kind of stuff, I set the whole world off about mine. I ain't never played no games when it came to what's mine. Ever. And anybody that know me know that to be fact. So yeah, a lot of people, when it comes down to getting involved with people that got children, be mindful, man. Do unto theirs as if you want done unto yours. And that's just real talk. Because if you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. Don't pretend to love the kid because you want the dad. Come on, stop it. Stop it, because we can see it. Everybody can see it.
Yeah, your actions it's going to show up every time in your actions at the end of the day. It's
clear as day. You can't tell me you love mine. Show me. Show me. Love is a word followed by actions. That's how you know when it's real. And that's just what it is. So I just had to, give a little talk
on that.
Because that needs to be said.
That's important.
That needs to be said. I don't do no fake stuff.
Yeah.
I don't whether it's man or woman, don't play about. I don't do fake stuff when it comes to children. They innocent people, they innocent. You came into their family with their dad or their mom. So love, you say you love that man or that woman, then act like you love their child too.
That's why I said that it says a lot
don't
about
play games.
That part.
Don't do it. But yeah, what else you got? Because I'm the wrap up point.
Yeah, I love to get it going. Listen, the done. But yeah, that's definitely important at the end of the day, because you have a lot of people, like I said, your actions show how you feel about that
all day long.
Your actions. Oh, I love your child. I don't do this. No, you're not showing me anything. You're just there and existing, because
down to their appearance, down to
clothes.
Everything counts. You're not going to come in my home and you ain't straight.
And you ain't sending
That's it.
Making sure the clothes is clean. Like, come on, what we doing here? Act as if you're the mom. Like, hold on. And it's not that you're overstepping. No, that these are things that's needed. Like
basic.
Exactly. Basic things that's needed, so you're not overstepping. Like, oh, what you got going on here? Oh, if you see a little girl and the hair ain't done, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do that hair. It's no questions asked. I'm not asking nothing. Let me go ahead, braid your hair up. Come on, let's wash your hair. Oh, your clothes ain't clean. What you got going on here? Hold on, what you got on? Oh no, we ain't doing this.
I don't want you coming out the
That's
house.
basic stuff, and it's not being smart to the child. Like, hold on, you have things going on here that you have to be presentable. You're gonna instill morals and values in that child as well if you're a stand-up woman. At the end of the day, and that's it.
Oh, you gotta be solid. Just be solid on who you are at the end of the day. Because let me tell you something. Yes, some moms and dads are funny. I don't do that. Let me tell you, when you're up in my crib, I'm gonna make sure you're good. Your hair done, your clothes done, and yes, even that when it comes down to teenage boys, they get into the mode where they don't want to get dressed and they want to be filthy and stink. Man, wash up and throw on some clean clothes. But what you ain't gonna do is step out the door looking crazy with me. Because they're your reflection of me at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Whether I birthed you or not, you're part of the family. I have married your mother or your father.
Yeah, the child is a blended. It's called a blended family. Because at the end of the day,
don't play games.
Even if the child is upset or want to say no, she's telling you right. You need to come out of here presentable. We not doing that.
Absolutely.
Fine line and boundaries is not overstepping, and people gotta really get in tune with that. That's not overstepping. Mm-hmm. Overstepping is being abusive and being, emotional, like abusive and all that kind of stuff. That's overstepping.
Absolutely. And another thing that's extremely important in being a mom is being emotionally available. A lot of times we're not emotionally available because we're dealing with other things in our life, right? And we don't really even grasp it. Like, dang, I didn't even realize that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really be thinking that you're not emotionally unavailable. But when you think back about a lot of things, you are emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because again, in life, certain other areas have to be together for everything to come together, right? So that goes back to that self-care. Really, really work on you. I think that a lot of people benefit from therapy. I think a lot of people would benefit from really taking a raw look at themselves. And you can't work on everything at one time because that's unrealistic. But I think that if you put a goal or two down and really try to work towards bettering you, because if you better you, listen, you're a force to be reckoned with for everybody else that even comes in contact with you. And not just as a mom, not just as a wife, not just as a friend, not just as a co-worker, not just as a daughter, not just as a sister, cousin, as a human being, right? You work on you and look how you show up in the world at the end of the day. That stuff is extremely, extremely important. And I gotta touch on one more thing about that Kevin Samuels guy, right? And you know what I mean? And I'm sorry that happened to him. And everybody don't agree with his outlook, but he said something that was extremely important. It was this woman on there, and he said, how would your exes, what would they say about you? And she said, they would say that I have an attitude, that I speak my mind, and then he said, and that's the problem right there. Did you just hear yourself? Yeah, what? Because I ain't let nobody say what they want to me, and this. And I said, you know what? The way you come off in life, and it's not to say take nobody ish. I'm not saying it at all. But if you're not easygoing, if you're not, nobody feel like no
toxic person.
I like peace.
You don't realize you're toxic.
You're a simple person that don't. Not that I don't require a lot, but when it comes, I'm simple. I like simplicity, right? So I don't like the bickering. I don't like none of that. And that came over time. Like I don't just start out being confrontational. No. That comes off of how you're treating me, right? And that's why it's important as you grow and as you experience different things in life, you know where to cut the ties at. Mm-hmm. Because it start making you toxic, as well as the person that's pouring that out to you. Mm-hmm. Whether it's friendships, whether it's relationships, whatever it is, you got to have that self-awareness, set those boundaries, because as much as he may have been an a-hole to a lot of women, he was speaking some truth, and sometimes that's some medicine we don't never want to taste, right?
Exactly.
But in order to grow, you gotta eat that. You got to. And I was like, Dad, he right about that.
Yeah, because he said a lot of things that did make sense, and people was like, oh, he's being degrading to women. But my thing is this: if you got up there and you knew
you're degrading to yourself,
you got up there,
absolutely,
and you knew what you signed up for when you got up on that man platform, thinking that you was it and ain't. And I'm just saying that because if that was the case, why did you get up on it to seek validation? Obviously, you was looking for some type of advice or some type of something to fix whatever it is that you had going on, because you initially came up there with an issue at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Especially, like, more so, like, you're requiring these different things, right? And he's basically saying, like, the delivery was jacked up, but what is it that you're doing that you think that you deserving of these different things, or you're
Absolutely.
you're requiring all of this, but what is it that you have going on? You want a man that's a college graduate, but here it is, you don't even have a high school diploma. You want a
The
man
CEO, right? And you're bagging the groceries at the store. And again, this is not degrading, anybody.
but it's just making a point of to look at the bigger picture of what exactly to what it is and ain't. And I want to speak on the fact that they got upset at B. Simone because she mentioned something that she's in that bracket. She's in that bracket. She's going to look for something on her level at the end of the day. So the people that were offended were the people that were working 9 to 5s, but she wasn't saying that it was something wrong with a 9 to 5. These are her preferences based on where bracket she's in at the end of the day, and people act like they don't understand that or grasp the concept of that. And everybody is so quick to get offended. Everybody is so quick to say, "Oh my God, she said that. Oh, she shouldn't say that because she's in a..." Exactly. But if it doesn't apply to you. That's just like, we making 6-7 figures. Why would I want somebody that's not working at all? Why would I want that? I'm not understanding. I'm looking for what people that are on my level, people that we have, and things that we have in common at the end of the day.
That aligns with me. And not to say that people won't deal with people that make less than them, because it happens every day. That's not it. No. You got to be working towards something. You have to have something going on at the end of the day. And that's the importance as a woman, as a mom, you have to continue to evolve. You have to continue to grow. You have to continue to remain teachable. And I know me. You gotta be. I know one thing about me. I hate to feel like somebody is telling me what to do. That's why I'm big on, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? And that's one area that I do want to work on and growing, because it's like, dang, is it that deep? You know what I mean? Like, because you got to start looking at yourself again, right? So it's like, whoa, like, what is that? What is that that's happening for you right now? When you have to react that way towards that, when it's like maybe a positive thing, but you just feel like the delivery or whatever is being said is not the right words that you're looking for, right? And oftentimes I always say, yeah, I want somebody to be real with me. Yes, I want somebody to push me. Yes, I want somebody to make me grow. Then it's in your face and it's like, do you really want that? You know what I mean? Maybe test it, right? You got to put your money where your mouth is. Like, are you for real? You really wanted that? Like, and that's the thing, as moms, just continue to grow. You got goals to work on them. Yes, I know it's not always going to be in a time frame that you wish that it could have been, because yes, when you have children, it's not about it. You got to work around these schedules, right? You got to have their support system, because the support system is extremely important. And for people that does do it alone, and it's shout out to y'all, because it's not easy, right? It's extremely hard, because you need that village. And when people used to say that it takes a village, it takes a village, and that's just real talk. So, happy Mother's Day. Shout out to all the moms out there that did lose their mom and celebrating and mourning today over losing, maybe it's the woman they raised, or maybe it's grandma, maybe it's your aunt, maybe it's your mother, whoever that person may be. Shout out to them. Do something in remembrance of them today, because they there. They not physically there, but they there. You feel them, and that's just what it is. And this is Nash signing off.
Signing off.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.